Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another session of Tony Talks right here on YouTube. Please don't forget to click the subscribe button right there. And please, after this video, like it. Click the like button. Help me out. Today, on Tony Talks, we're going to talk about constellation mapping and how it pertains to us. And hey, everybody. And so, first, let me just say this. Constellation mapping is really my ministry. It's my ministry, and I'm using it to help people have better understanding about relationships, family dynamics, have a better understanding about themselves, just have a better understanding about people. And when we have a better understanding, it allows us to embrace each other a lot better and embrace each other as we should. And let me just say this, while I appreciate everyone, everybody's input, what I teach is not astrology. Yes, I do use a lot of the terminologies that are used in astrology, but this is not astrology. It may sound like astrology, but it's not astrology. And people tend to be very combative when they, I guess, are trying to, correct me or, I guess, add their input. So here's my thing about it. What I teach, it may not be for everybody. It may not be for you. And that's okay, because there are going to be many ministries in the world. Everybody has a ministry. You just may not know what it is at the current moment, but everybody has a ministry. And so this is my ministry. And so it may not be for everyone. Not everybody's going to find deliverance in it. Just as everybody doesn't find deliverance in Christianity. People don't find deliverance always in the Bible. Some people, they use the Quran. Some people turn to Buddhism. I believe that there are many ways and many paths to God. And there's many ways to worship God. And of course, if God intended for us all to worship God the same way, then God would have made us all the same. But God made us different. And so therefore, it would be a no-brainer, that there would be many different ways of reaching God. So, my thing is, if you have your thing, your niche, and it is bringing enlightenment to people and is helping people, then you should create a platform. You should start a channel, and you should share, what you have, what has moved you, what has enlightened you, what has brought you understanding, and share it. I implore you, there are billions of people on the face of the planet to reach. There's room for everyone. So, once again, this is not astrology. So, just an FYI. But what constellation mapping is basically the mapping of behaviors. It's about behaviors. When I use the word nature, I'm basically talking about behaviors. What are the behaviors of people? What basically dictates the behaviors of people? Is it necessarily what you were taught when you were growing up? Is it necessarily the environment that you were born into? My belief that is much more than that. Is nature. My belief is that each person in life is assigned a role. Everybody has a role as well as a purpose in life. And just like I would like to compare humans to like a colony of ants. You know, ants, they come in billions and billions of numbers, just as humans do. And ants have to work together. They have to work in unison, and actually, they're one of the few species of animals on the planet that actually work together in unison and can accomplish a lot. And I think that this is kind of like the intention for the human race, but we just suck at it. But each ant is assigned a role in life. They have a purpose. And when they're born, nobody has to tell them what their purpose is. Nobody has to tell them what their job is. They just inherently know what it is. We can't explain it. We don't know how, it is. Maybe that's something that we'll have to ask God when we see God, but it just is. It's a law of nature. These particular ants, they come out and they know what they're supposed to do. Some ants are worker ants. They go out and they gather leaves and twigs and they carry it back to the nest. And you have some ants, they go out and they hunt and they kill other insects and rodents and so forth, and they bring back food for the larvae and so forth. And then you have some ants that it's their job to, and their role in life, to serve and protect and tend to the next generation of ants. And so it's kind of like when you compare that to the human race, it's really the same thing. It's really the same concept. And so everybody is assigned a role. Everybody is assigned a purpose, and they are to carry that out according to their nature. And so in constellation mapping, you have people that have the fire nature, and you have people that have the air nature, and you have people that have the earth nature, and you have people that have the water nature. And nobody has control over what nature you're going to be born into, or under. Nobody has control over that. It's really like Vegas. It's a roll of the dice, but each person is needed. Each nature is needed. Just as in nature itself, the earth and the water, the fire and the air, they all work together in unison. One feeds off the other, and one cannot exist without the other. And of course, the earth encompasses everything. And so people are a replica of this. You have people that, if you're earth natured, you'll probably find that you're very rooted, very grounded. You're all about stability. You're all about structure. Your life, pretty much resembles that. You probably are a caregiver. Your job probably is in hospitality or the service field. Not saying that the other natures can't work and operate in these areas, but you would be very, very good at it because it's in your nature to care for other people. It's in your nature to embrace pretty much everybody. It's in your nature to be very caring, very welcoming, very homey. When you step into an Earth Nature's house, you tend to feel at home. They make you feel at home. They're always making sure everybody's okay. when you think of an earth nature, you might kind of think of maybe like a grandmother, kind of, in a sense. Even if it's a child, the child is gonna gonna like pretty much display these nurturing characteristics. Earth nature people are very good at nurturement. They're very good at nurturing things, animals, people. Usually they're always trying to save somebody or something, save something. I mean, then you have people, you have your fire natures. These people, they're fun. They're fun. They're fiery. They know how to have a good time. We usually kind of describe these people as kind of like the children of the world. Just like children, they dive head first. They're brave. They're bold. They're brazen. If you tell a child that you go get on top of the roof and you jump off, you can fly. 9 times out of 10, this child's gonna probably do it. With no fear. Fire natures have no fear, and when they love you, they will fight to the bitter end for you. They're courageous. They're strong. They get a bad rap. Because when people mess with them, they go off, and that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to go off. You have your air natures. These people are very logical. Things have to make sense. They tend to embrace the world through numbers, figures, and facts. Things that, like if a truth needs to be established for them, they need to be able to see it. They need to be able to like read it. They're masterful at research. They research everything. Probably if I have some air natures out there right now watching, they're probably on the computer, probably planning to get on the computer to type in Constellation Mapping and try to find some information on it. And that's cool. That's what they're supposed to do. But air nature people, these people are very unique people. These people are the people that move society to the next level, move society to like into the next age, to the next form of technology. These people, they're usually the creators of cell phones. They're usually the minds behind satellites and all these forms of communication. Anything to do with the air, anything to do with radio, TV, they do very well in communicative fields. Great marketers, excellent speakers. And this is a fun fact. The majority of United States presidents are actually air nature, and second, fire nature. Very few presidents have been water and earth nature. And I can understand why, because air nature people are very good at speaking. Masterful at speaking. They usually we describe them as a walking dictionary. You have to be very careful about them, though. Their understanding of the English language and when they speak it is totally different from most people in society. So communicating with them can throw you off because a word to them could have a totally different degree of meaning versus the average person, because they're walking dictionaries, So I'm getting a warning on my video here, which I don't know what that means. But hopefully it doesn't disrupt what I'm doing. But and I think water natures. Now, if you're water nature, water natures are, as I described in yesterday's video, water natures are these people, they're very sensitive, they're very emotional. They live their life through feelings, that they feel through the world. It's almost like antennas, maybe you have some animals or some insects that they can't see with their eyes. They don't have very good eyesight, but they have like these antennas, and these antennas feel through the world, and that's how they're able to, navigate themselves through the forest or wherever they are. And so this is kind of like how water nature people move. They kind of move, I'll kind of like say, through faith and not sight. They don't necessarily need to see everything. These people, they are very sensitive and emotional to other people's emotions. They get a bad rap too, because especially the Scorpios. Scorpios are sometimes seen as secretive, and I wouldn't want to use the word secretive. Not secretive. They just don't. They don't wear their feelings on their sleeve, and they are not gonna necessarily share with you private information unless you probe and get it out of them, or depending on who you are, you can ask and they might tell you. But when they have something going on inside, or they're in their feelings about something, you're not gonna know. The Pisces usually hides their feelings by pretending to be happy, because they're already flirty and airy and whimsical anyways. And the Cancer can do what the Scorpio does, and the Cancer can do what the Pisces does, because the Cancer is the balance of the water natures. But so everybody born is assigned one of these natures. If you're living, you have one of these natures. If you're a woman. Now, if you're a man, you have two natures. Well, actually, I'll take that back. Women have two natures. And I know I focus on men a lot. So, let me just explain women real quick. Women have their nature. So, if she's a Leo, she's a Leo. If she's a Gemini, she's a Gemini. If she's a Aries, she's an Aries. But women have this special component added on to them, and it's called mother nature. And so let me just take you back. Everything in life is balanced. Everything in life has balance to it. And in order to have a balance, you have to have pretty much two different things. Two things, and usually one may weigh more than the other. They may weigh the same, and then you have the balance. And so this is kind of like how people are structured. You have people, men, they have their nature, and then they have their mother's nature that creates the balance within them, even though their natures may be conflicting. And then women have their nature, and then they have mother nature, because women are designed to nurture children. And you'll find that this is where the greatest divide is between men and women. The dirty truth is, most people, if you're a Gemini, out there, most people that are water natured and air natured are probably going to view you as a liar. And it's not that you're a liar, it's just they just don't understand how you speak. And so within that, because they don't understand how you speak, of course they're gonna view you as, unfortunately, a liar. They're not gonna tell you that, but that's usually how we view air natures. President Trump is a Gemini. Attorney General is a Gemini. Uh, Actually, the Vice President is a Gemini. In fact, a lot of the president's lawyers are Geminis. There's a lot of Geminis in the White House right now. And, you know, speaking of Trump, and I'll explain Geminis. So, like, President Trump is a Gemini. And air natures tend to speak ahead of themselves. You know, if they tell you something, they're telling you about the end result, basically. You know, they're not gonna tell you about like the process and all the, you know, details, because that's really not important. What's important is the end result. So when Donald Trump says one day the coronavirus is gonna go away, he's really not lying. One day it is. One day it is gonna go away. It's just not gonna go away right now. You know, when Donald Trump comes out and he says, you know, guys, everything's great. Everything's okay. You know, we're gonna get, you know, we're doing the best testing. We're doing this. We're doing that. You know, it makes it sound so good. You know, and really, that's what he really would want. That's really what he would hope for. But it's just not happening. And you know, but he's gonna sell it to you. They're good at selling things. This is why they make great marketers. You know, if you're air nature, and you're not in marketing, you really should consider marketing. But anyways, people have a balance to themselves. So like I said, women, they're balanced with Mother Nature because they have to nurture children. And so if you have a Gemini man and you put them up against a Gemini woman, well, people will say, well, wow, you know, the Gemini man, he lies all the time. But the Gemini woman, she doesn't seem to lie like the Gemini man. And, you know, the reason being is because, you know, as a female, as a woman, and you have to nurture children, there has to be a different way of communicating to this child to keep it from it endangering itself. So the woman has to kind of like change the way she communicates with the child. She will change the way she communicates with the child, and it'll be more along the lines of like reality, truth. Whereas the men, even though things may be crumbling and falling apart, they're still gonna tell you that everything's okay. Because at the end of the day, that's really what the end result is, what they're hoping for. And you know, like for example, I was talking to a gentleman. He's an Aquarius. His mother's an Aquarius, and so he had this business, this drone business, and he had the website. He had all the literature. I mean, he had it beautifully laid out. He had pictures, you know, you looking at it from, you know, the way he presented it, you know, you would say, wow, you know, he's in business, he has it all rocking and rolling. But then I realized I was talking to an Aquarius. So I asked him, I said, well, let me ask you, do you own a drone? And his response was, no, I don't own a drone. So, you know, immediately I think to myself, well, how is it that you don't own a drone, but you have all this stuff, you know, like you have the finished product right here. How is that? But I had to realize that air natures speak ahead of themselves, and he was really, you know, basically telling me what it really was going to look like at the end, even though it wasn't completed. But that doesn't matter. You know, what matters is the end result. And In fact, thinking about it, my boss used to always say, to me, because I worked for Walgreens for like 14 years as a store manager. He says to me, Tony, I don't care about the effort. All I care about is the result. And now that I think about that, that's such an air-natured thing to say. Who cares about all the struggle and all the effort that you went through to go, to get it done? What matters is that you got it done, and we're open and we're making sales, and he was all about sales. He was all about figures. Yeah. Now that I think about it, that's probably why we never got along. Because he's an air nature. Okay, that's interesting. Yesterday's video, I told people to go back and map the people around you. This works even at work. If you know what your boss's nature is, then you know how to engage him, and you know what moves him. You know what appeases him. You know what makes him happy. My boss is a Taurus Gemini. His mother's a Gemini. And yes, I met my boss. And I know my boss is a Gemini, and I know that he doesn't move on emotion. He could care less. He moves on facts and figures. What makes sense? What's policy? Is it written? Is it written down? Because if it's not written down, that's not gonna move him. So I know that I have to engage him with facts and figures. If I want a day off, then I probably have to say, hey, look, I raised the KPI to this. I improved this. I improved that. Boss, don't you think I should get a day off? And I'm more prone to move them that way versus just saying, look, man, I'm tired and I'm exhausted. I go home and I got like 5 kids. I got to deal with the wife. Boss, I need a day off. He's going to look at you and say, well, brother, I feel you, but shit, I'm going through the same goddamn thing. So what are you talking about? And you're not going to get time off. But anyways, when people know what their nature is, they have a better understanding about themselves. They have a better understanding about how they should move in the world, what they need in the world. Before I even started understanding constellation mapping, when it first, was taught to me, I didn't know, but I'm born a Scorpio, and my mother's a Capricorn. I lived most of my life, the majority of my life, as a Capricorn. But I'm still a Scorpio. And as a Scorpio, as a water nature, if you're a Pisces, if you're a Cancer, if you're a Scorpio, you are a water nature. And all water natures need to be held. Water needs to be held. That's a fact. If water's not held, it spills all over the place. And what good is spilled water? It's no good to anybody. And in fact, it's not even any good to itself. So people that are water nature, they need to be held. And what is the one element that can hold water? It's earth. That's why people that are water nature need to be with people that are earth nature. Because only earth nature people can hold water nature people. You have to ask yourself, can the fire hold the water? No. Can the air hold the water? No. But the earth can. And the water can give the earth what it needs to be or do what it does and be nourishing and all that great stuff and give us a replenishment of food and all that great stuff. And just like the fire needs the air, and the fire doesn't burn the air. That's why these people that are fire natured and air natured, they should be together, because this is how their relationship would be. But when you put a fire nature with a water nature, fire burns. Fire natured people, they tend to not be too filtered with their words, and so they may say some things that may be very damaging. And at the moment when they're pissed, they mean it. And you get burned. You get burned, and you get put in your feelings. That's usually what happens. When you put fire with the earth, what happens? The earth gets burned, gets scorched. Fire needs to be free, even though you can contain fire. But the true nature of fire is to spread all over the place and burn everything to the fucking ground. And air natured people, they need to be free. The air is free. It's not contained. You can't contain air. Just like you can't contain a person that has an air nature. They need to be free. These are the travelers of the world. When I go on Instagram and I look at a profile and I see a person, they were, in California one weekend, they were in New Jersey the next weekend, and they were in Canada, 2 months ago, and they were in, Mississippi down here. That's an air nature. It's in their nature to move around in the world. And that's okay. Fire natures are great at enforcing policy. They're great enforcers. They're brave, they're bold, they don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you work with one of them, and if you have one as a boss, this is how they function, Policy says, if you do this and this has to happen. And the fire natures are great at enforcing that. They may feel for you. They may be, slightly sad about it, but they're going to execute it because that's what policy says. These are the forces of the world. They make great bodyguards. They make excellent bodyguards. They're very brave. And one thing about them, they're great at like techie stuff, like mechanical stuff. You know how like kids like they'll take a car apart, or they'll take the remote control apart. They'll take, they'll just always taking shit apart, and usually it's like electronics. And that's usually a fire nature. That's what they do. They're explorers. They're being destructive, but they're researching. Just in a destructive way. But they are very good at techie stuff. Very good in apps. If you date one, be careful. Chances are they probably hacked your phone. They probably know the password to your phone. They've probably been in your apps. They're very, very, very good at researching. Very good at researching. So just be careful. But when they love you. And they fight for their love. They display their love, and it may seem kind of violent. People usually translate it into violence. I try to call it passion. They're very passionate people. And they're very passionate about the people that they love. But like I say, constellation mapping, this is kind of like an overview of what it is. It's not astrology. One thing I will say about astrology is astrology will tell you that you're compatible with 3-4 different types of people, 3-4 different natures. And how can that be? When you look out into the wild, when the lion, the female lion, you know, she doesn't just give herself to everyone. She's actually very selective. And once she selects somebody, from what I understand, that's pretty much it. You know. So if the lion isn't for every single male, if the female lion isn't for every single male lion in the jungle, then you kind of have to ask yourself, how can one human being be the perfect match for 3 or 4 different types of people? And then when you look at who they say you're compatible with, the natures are conflicting. And please don't get me started on the chart. I'm so tired of people bringing this chart to me. I'm going to ask you this. If that chart is so valuable, please let us know how it has changed your life. Let us know how it can change other people's lives. Let us know how you use it. Let us know how, you know, it's brought understanding to you and it's actually helped you move better in the world. Because let me just say one thing about these charts. You know, the sun rising and the moon falling and the Venus, you know, my Mars, you know, I'm a Taurus, my moon is Taurus, my sun is Venus, and all this blah blah blah. Look, who made you? Who are you made up of from? You know, Venus, the sun, the moon. These are not things that make you up of who you are physically. It's your mother, and actually your father's mother. Because if your father's a duplicate of his mother, then everything that you actually get from him, you actually got from his mom. So when they say, man, you look just like your daddy, or man, you act just like your daddy, they really are saying, wow, you look just like his mama. Actually, you act just like his mama. Depending on what the natures are too. You know, the natures can be totally different, and of course, there's going to be different behaviors. But look, if you find, you know, refuge in astrology and it's brought clarity to your life, then hey, more power to you. Share it with the world. But astrology is entertainment. It's for the purpose of entertainment. It's very entertaining, but it's not accurate. Some of it is. Now, I will say some of it is accurate. Some of it does have some validity. But we also have to remember astrology piggybacks off of astronomy. And astronomy is actually the study of the stars and constellations and the way that the constellations affect the behaviors of people. Constellation mapping. So I'm gonna go. I probably got off course, but if you guys found this video informational, please leave a comment. I'm going to respond to them. I'm going to read them, I promise. And please click the subscribe button. I mean, you made it this far. Click the subscribe button. You know what? Create a YouTube account if you don't have one, and just click the subscribe button. And like the video. Even if you didn't like the video, just like it. If you agree, great. If you don't, that's cool too. Just like the video and just be nice. And until then, people, I love you. I truly do. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for making my first live session a success. I think we got up to, I think last time I checked, maybe 270 views. Yay. Yeah. Yeah. So until then, people, I love you. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.